Hi guys, today I was at the store at a local butchery and I saw this beautiful tri-tip, this really nice piece that I would like to cook in the oven, roast it, and turn it into sandwich meat. So it's a really robust type of a cut. It has a lot of flavor, it has some marbling. The only thing with the tri-tip, you have to cook it to medium. If you overcook it just slightly, you'll get tough on you. Just because it's not a steak, it doesn't have so much marbling. You see the way it marbles right here, you have a little marbling. All that is fat, that is beautiful, but it's just not as good as a steak would be. But with proper technique, with the right time, high heat in the oven, this piece of meat can be beautiful. It can have the flavor and the juiciness and the tenderness that we all enjoy. All right, so let's just begin. Well, for this recipe, I mean, it's a two-part recipe. What I will need is peppercorns, some salt, rosemary, and thyme. This preparation takes 24 hours before it goes into the oven. You can cut corners and make it maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, but the purpose of that is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna cover the meat with the peppercorns and the salt. The salt will first draw the moisture out of the meat. That's where a lot of cooks make that mistake. They salt something, they let it sit for half an hour, and then they put it in the oven. That's a huge mistake. What happens in that half hour, that first hour, the moisture comes out, you put it in the oven, it evaporated. So your meat, when you cook it, will be drier. The trick to that is pre-planning ahead. What you do is you take the peppercorns, your salt, you rub it all over, and you put it in the fridge. You lightly cover it, and I'll show you how we're gonna do that. What happens there, within the first hour, the moisture does escape. The first 2 hours, the moisture comes out. But then overnight, or over a few hours, the moisture goes back into the meat, but now it goes back into the meat with the salt and with the peppercorn flavor. So your seasoning will be all throughout the meat. Basically, what people do with brining, how you hear people brine things in liquids, this is a dry brine. You're seasoning something and it brines itself. Once the salt penetrates the meat, it's in there, what it does, it just breaks the meat up a little bit and it makes it more tender. And this is how I usually cook my beef, because the outcome is unbelievable. So let's get started. Now to begin, what I will do, I will need some of that crushed black pepper. Two ways of doing it. Well, actually there's probably a lot more ways to do it, but here's two that you can crush up your peppercorns. Parchment paper, put it here. This is just so they don't fly around. I mean, you can do it on a cutting board like that, and you can just, with your weight, crush them up like so. To prevent them kind of making a mess, you put them in parchment paper, close it up, a little bit. Alright, so this is what we're looking for. And the other way, if you have one of these, which I suggest you guys get, to make a lot of sauces in these, a lot easier, faster. Alright guys, so with this piece of meat here, this one, the butcher did an excellent job, but sometimes you'll have a little silver skin, which you will just go under with your knife and kind of just take out. But the butcher in my case did a really good job, and I'm not going to take all this beautiful fat off because it's going to render when it's going to be cooking right into the meat, and it's going to keep the meat nice and juicy and caramelized. Okay, so I got one of these racks here. Cover it with salt. Okay. Pepper. Okay guys, so got our piece of meat here all covered with salt and pepper heavily. Okay, salt as you wish. This is about a 2.5 pound piece of meat. So I kind of eyeball the salt and I'll let you do the same. All right, so place it on a rack like that because you want that air circulation in the refrigerator that it's gonna sit for. If you have 24 hours, that'll be the best. If you have, at minimum, I would say 4 hours. 3-4 hours will do, but the longer the better. All right, so here I have some fresh herbs, rosemary and thyme. Just put them all around like that. Okay, a little here, a little there. Okay, so at this point, you can put it in the refrigerator just like that. You don't have to cover it. We'll just put a little bit, not completely cover, saran wrap, but loosely. So the refrigerator is kind of dry aging it for us. It's doing that work, okay? So that's about it. And I'm gonna put it right in there right now, and I'll meet you guys tomorrow for that second part, and we'll put some sandwiches together with this beautiful roasted piece of meat. See you soon. All right guys, welcome back. Day number 2 for our tri-tip video. You can take a look what has happened to the meat. It kind of tightened up a little bit. That's what you're looking for. It was partially covered, not covered completely, so the meat can the air can circulate in the refrigerator and dry age it for us. So now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna set it aside because it's been out for 2 hours. You wanna make sure your meat sits out from the fridge for at least, depends on the size of the meat, but this is a 2.5 pound piece of meat. I'll give it at least 2 hour time and let it come to room temperature. If you just take a cold piece of meat out, put it right into the oven, that's a huge mistake. The meat will just tighten up and you will not cook evenly. Okay, just want to show you guys. So we are making sandwiches. So what we're doing today is the hot cross buns. They're almost done. Okay, it's the video that we had a few days prior. Right, almost done, just a few more minutes. And with these sandwiches, what we're gonna have is your not so traditional coleslaw salad. What you will need for the salad is cabbage, carrot, some chili peppers, cilantro, honey, mayo, and salt and pepper to taste. And it'll also come with your horseradish sauce. Horseradish sauce ingredients will be heavy cream, your horseradish, mayo, Worcestershire sauce, mustard, salt, pepper. Okay guys, so I got our oven at 400 degrees. It's nice and warm. The tri-tip is ready to go into the oven. And just a few things I want to talk to you guys before I do that is you will need one of the thermometers to test your meat. It's extremely important. The way you'll be testing the meat will be somewhere in the middle here. Don't test the sides. Make sure the thickest part, that's where you test it. And what you will be looking for are temperatures anywhere from 120 to 135. At 120, you will get a rare piece of meat. At 125 to 130, your meat will be medium rare. And then at 135, you're looking at a medium. My preference is anywhere from 130 to 135, about a medium. Again, once you pull the meat out, we're gonna have to let it sit for at least 10-15 minutes, depends up to the size of the piece of meat that you're cooking. And in our case, at least 10-15 minutes. And then that'll bring up the temperature by another 5, 6, 7 degrees around that. So let's begin. Let's put the meat in the oven. All right on the rack. You want that air circulation around the piece of meat. You don't want to use any pan that is going to have high borders. Something shallow just like that does the job because you want that air circulation around the meat to caramelize it all over. The more caramelization your piece of meat gets, the more flavor you will have from the meat. Okay, time to set our timer, and we will put it for 25 minutes. Okay, let's start. And we'll just keep on checking. Every piece of meat, every oven is gonna cook the meat differently. So, but you're looking at least a 25-minute window until you start checking on your meat. All right, so let's just jump in. into making our coleslaw, as I always tell you guys. So you see the difference is if you put in cutting board, you see how much it slides. It kind of goes all over and then this way and sideways. But if you put this damp paper towel, that's it. It's steady. It doesn't move. All right. So right here, our mayo can go in. Honey. Salt and pepper. We'll start with our carrot. Right, depends how much heat you guys want in there. If you want it spicier, you can leave the seeds in. I'm gonna take the seeds out. I just want the pepper flavor. I don't want the seeds. Because if kids want to eat it, they're not gonna want spicy. Alright, maybe one more time so they're not too long. Give it a little squeeze. Not much, but just a little bit. Okay, start adding it into your coleslaw. Okay, so our coleslaw is done. Alright, that's what you're looking for. And I'm gonna give it a taste. Again, season and then check constantly. Don't over season. You can always add, but you can't take away, right? So let's give it a try, see if the pepper, the cilantro, the little honey, those flavors come in beautifully all together. It's gonna be delicious on that sandwich. Just great. Okay, so let's transfer this over. Beautiful. Okay. All right, guys, so just make sure your salads and everything, because we still got a lot of food to cook here and prep, so everything stays nice and cool. That's supposed to stay cool, so beautiful. Goes in the fridge. All right, so let's start with our sauce. We'll put our heavy cream into the bowl like that. Get a whisk. I'm gonna take a little mussel and I'll start whipping it. A good time to season a little bit, put a little salt, a little pepper. Okay, we're almost there. Shake off your whisk. Okay, let's start with the mayo. A little mayo and kind of fold it in there. Be gentle, not to break it as much as possible. So just fold that, mix it in. The next thing can go is your mustard, horseradish, and Worcestershire sauce. Alright, so you got yourself a nice light sauce. So velvety, so light. I mean, all those tones, there's a lot of different flavors. Oh my god. It's really, really delicious. You definitely should try it. Same thing with the sauce. I'm gonna cover it up, put it in the fridge, and be waiting, checking on our meat pretty soon. Okay guys, so for the last 5-10 minutes I kept a close eye on our tri-tip. About 5 minutes ago, what I did, I noticed that it's not caramelizing the way I would like it to, so I just bumped up the heat by another 50 degrees on my oven, and it's been 5 minutes now, so let's check on it. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Alright, let's check doneness. 129, 131. 132. No? Okay. So I'm gonna just let it rest from now. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking anywhere from, my preference is from 130 to 135. If you like it a little more on the underdone side, then maybe at 125. It's all your choice. So let's let it rest for at least, we'll turn the oven off. And I have my pan heating up over here. I got the buns that we just baked. All right, they're sitting out here. They're still kind of warm, but what I'll do, see how soft? All right, so what I'll do is I'm gonna just brush them with butter and I'm gonna toast them a little bit. All right, what I'm gonna do is the brush, brush a little butter, turn up the heat. Okay guys, so we gave this piece of meat enough time to relax. The juices have spread out through the meat evenly, and now it's time to carve. I got myself a carving knife and a fork to hold on to the meat and carve it this way. So just a few things I want to mention, that you want to cut against the grain, not with the grain. And this is an odd piece of meat the way it's shaped, as you can see. So if you're looking at it this way, you're looking at the straight at the meat, you want to, the pointy part, you want it about at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So then you'll start carving it this way. The grains go that way, you're cutting like so. If I was gonna cut it with the grain, meat will be really tough to chew. Okay, so let's begin. Let's see what this looks like. First piece, second. And it's gonna have different doneness throughout the meat because some parts of the meat are thicker than others. Underdone, some well done, just because of the odd shape of this cut, because it's so uneven. Okay. All right. If you overcook this piece of meat, this meat will get so tough it will not be a pleasant experience eating it. I can guarantee you. So this is the ideal. You see how juicy it is? You see all the juice in there? Okay. So this is what you're looking for. Okay. So let's start. I have enough meat cut here. Let's start assembling our sandwiches. So some of this horseradish. Bread is nicely toasted. Just like that. Thin cuts. You want them, these are the bottoms. You want them kind of odd shape, not all even. Fold it over. All right, so it's time to feed our family. Okay, so what we have here are our little mini sandwiches. Okay, let's put them up here. Okay guys, so it's time to sample So we got some homemade lemonade here. All right. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
What you think?
This right here, amazing recipe.
The coleslaw is really good. The horseradish gives it that little tone. Toasted bread for that little extra crunch. You can feel that with that butter that comes off really nice. And the beef just cooked perfectly. Really nice, tender, juicy. Anything you can ask for is right here in this little sandwich. I'm really enjoying it. And looks like Dennis is too, according to the amount of sandwich he has left over. Thanks for watching our videos. If you like the video, please give us a like. If you want to see more videos, subscribe, and we'll be making more videos for you guys. Thanks.